Good morning, students. Today we are going to start chapter 4, that is atomic structure and atom. So, in this, you are going to learn about atomic structure, its subatomic particles, how the subatomic particles are discovered, what are the modern concept, atomic number, mass number, electronic configuration, etc. So today we'll cover only the few topics. So the today highlights of today's videos are Dalton's atomic theory, atoms and its structure, discovery of electron, discovery of proton, and Thomson's model of an atom. So let's get started. First is Dalton's atomic theory. First, let me give you some introduction that we have learned in our previous classes that everything in this universe is made up of matter, and all matter is made up of tiny particles called atoms. So in other words, we can say that atoms are the building blocks of matter, as we all know that. Atoms were initially thought to be very small particles that cannot be further divided or split into small particles, which we have read in our earlier classes that atoms cannot be divided into smaller particles. After that, many scientists from different generations have dedicated their lives to solve the mystery behind these atoms. Now, what happened that scientists have researched so many, and they have find out that there are subatomic particles in which the atom is divided, and from which the atom is made up of. So firstly, the Maharshi Kanada, which is an ancient Indian philosopher and scientist of 600 BC, he postulated that matter consists of very small particles, which he termed as Anu. He also proposed that an Anu may consist of subatomic particles, which he termed as Parmanu. So, meaning of particle that cannot be further divided or broken down. So, this was first discovered by Maharshi Kanada, and he has give that theory that the very small particles are there, and that matter consists of very small particles called Anu, which we say it at atom, and that atom is made up of subatomic particles which are called as Parmanu, and that Parmanu are subatomic particles. After that, John Dalton, an English chemist, postulated the atomic theory, and his theory became the theoretical foundation in the field of chemistry. Now, some of the assumptions which Dalton has given in his theory are that matter is made up of minute, discrete, individual and indestructible particles called atoms. So, he has given the postulate that atoms are indivisible and cannot be divided and cannot be created or destroyed. And second one is all atoms of the same elements are chemically alike. Atoms of different elements are chemically different. In particular, the atoms of one element have different mass than those of the other element. This postulate means if we compare the atoms of two different elements, just suppose that one element is iron and the second one is copper. So if we compare the atomic mass and atomic number of iron and copper, that will be totally different. But iron is made up of tiny particles, that is atoms. So all the atoms of iron will be identical. It means it will be same. All the atoms of iron will possess similar properties. But if we compare the elements of iron and copper, then atoms of iron will have different properties than that of the atoms of copper. So atoms of same elements possess same properties and they are identical, but the atoms of different elements will be different from each other. When atoms combine to form compounds, or when such combination of atom decomposes, each individual atom retains its identity. This means whenever two or more elements combine together in a small whole number ratio to form compound, during chemical reaction they do not change but rearrange themselves to form new compound. So When they rearrange themselves to form new compound, they form the new compound and the chemical reaction happens, and the new compound has the property totally different from that of the constituent atom. But again, when they go through any process and they decompose, they separate it out from each other, so they will possess the same properties. There will be no change in the properties of the constituent elements. Like if iron and sulfate are mixed together to make FeSO4, and then if it will be decomposed, then that Fe and sulfur will show its original properties after decomposition. There will be no change in the original identity or original property of the substance when it will be decomposed. So this is all about the Dalton's atomic theory. Now, John Dalton's atomic theory was later modified as further discoveries were made in this field. And by the end of the 19th century, it was discovered that atoms are made up of tinier particles which are called its subatomic or fundamental particles. These subatomic particles are called protons, neutrons, and electrons. Now, how these protons, neutrons, and electrons discovered and how the atomic structure is made, we will learn that. So firstly, we will learn about the atomic structure. We all know that atom has nucleus in it. All the mass of atom is concentrated in its nucleus, and atoms are composed of subatomic particles, and that two subatomic particles are called proton and neutron. Neutrons are chargeless particles, protons are positive particles, and electrons are negative particles. So electrons have a negative charge and are least massive than of the three. It means electrons have the least mass as compared to other two. Protons and neutrons have mass, and almost all the mass of an atom is because of proton and neutron. Electron is considered as massless. Protons have a positive charge and are about 1836 times more massive than any electron. This mass is done by comparing the proton electron with hydrogen atom of hydrogen element. As we know that hydrogen is the lightest element, and the mass of the electron is 1 upon 1836 times less than the mass of the hydrogen. So that's why it is considered as massless, and the mass of the proton is equal to the mass of the hydrogen element. So that's why it is considered as having mass more than electron. And neutrons have no charge, but their mass is neutron has no charge, but their mass is nearly equal to that hydrogen element, and they are also considered as the mass having mass equal to that of proton. An atom is electrically neutral and having the spherical entity, as you can see in the diagram, and it is comprised of the positive charge nucleus surrounded by one or more negatively charged electron. You can see the diagram. Here it is, atomic structure. Now the blue ones are electrons which are rotating around the nucleus, and in the nucleus the blue light sky blue colors are for neutron, and positive charges, that is red, are for proton. Now how this electrons, protons, neutrons, nucleus are discovered? Is there any way? So yes, electrons were the first subatomic particles which was discovered. In 1987, British scientist J.J. Thomson discovered the negatively charged particles known as electron through the cathode ray discharge tube experiment, and he received the Nobel Prize in Physics in the year of 1906 for his research on cathode rays. So here this diagram which you can see, cathode ray discharge tube setup. This is the setup which is done for the discovery of electron, and it is done by J.J. Thomson in 1897. Now, in this, Thomson used a special tube called discharge tube for his experiment. It is hard cylindrical glass tube that is consist of two metal plates called electrodes, each seal at two end of the tube. So here you can see in the diagram, this is the tube that is made up of glass and having these two electrodes which is made up of metal. You can see this is called cathode and anode. The metal plates are connected to the two terminals of high voltage battery. As you can see from here, anode is positive, connected to the positive terminal, cathode is connected to the negative terminal, high voltage battery. Okay, so this is the connection, and these two electrodes from the end are connected to the battery or generator which will provide electricity. The metal plate that is connected to the negative terminal act as cathode, and the metal plate that is connected to the positive terminal act as an anode. The vacuum pump connected to one side of the tube to lower the pressure inside the tube. Now this vacuum pump, why it is required, as we have done that we have to do the experiment at the very low pressure. So this vacuum pump is there to decrease the pressure into the tube. Now what he has done to perform this experiment, Thomson passed very high voltage electricity, approximately 10,000 volts, through the discharge tube at a very low pressure. And the principle behind this experiment was that gases act as poor conductor of electricity under normal condition, but a very high voltage and under low pressure condition. So they become good conductors of electricity. Now what happened when this high voltage electricity was passed through the generator, the cathode tube, the cathode, the electrode metal plate cathode starts radiating some rays, and that rays were traveling from cathode towards the anode. It means from negative terminal towards the positive terminal. So after supplying the current, the observation which was made by the J.J. Thomson are that a continuous stream of rays was emitted from the cathode, and he called these rays as cathode rays as they are emerging out from the cathode. So the rays are called as cathode rays. A fluorescent green glow was observed at the other end of the tube. You can see the green glow behind the anode. The cathode rays were found to be moving from cathode region to the anode region, and this proved that these rays consisted of negatively charged particles. So through this repeated experiment with different gases, he concluded that his observation remained the same. Now from this experiment, he has characterized and he has observed some special features of the cathode rays. What are that special features? Characteristics of cathode rays. From the various experiments performed by J.J. Thomson, he has found that cathode rays travels in a straight line. When an object is placed in the path of cathode rays, a shadow of the object appears at the other end of the discharge tube, and this shows that cathode rays travel in a straight line. Second, cathode rays consist of fast moving particles. It means that if a light paddle wheel is placed in the path through which cathode rays are passed, it starts rotating. This proves that cathode rays consist of stream of fast moving particles. Third, cathode rays are negatively charged. So when an electric field is applied in the path of cathode rays, the ray tends to bend towards the positively charged plate. This proves that cathode rays consist of negatively charged particles, and these particles are termed as electrons. Thus it was found that all matter of atom contain negatively charged particles and electrons. Let me explain it to you simply, that whenever the one positive and one negative plates are placed near the tube, so these rays will travel towards the positive charge. So this shows that they are showing deflection towards the positive charge. It means, as we know, that opposite charges attract each other. So this shows that the cathode rays will contain negatively charged particles, and these particles are termed as electrons. So with this it was found that all matter of atom contain negatively charged particle or electron. Thomson also found that the charge E to mass m ratio of the particle that constitute the cathode rays is constant. So this is all about the characteristics of cathode rays. Next, characteristics of electron. So after the discovery of electron, the electron is defined as the subatomic fundamental particle having mass equal to 1 upon 1837 of that of hydrogen atom and carrying 1 unit of negative charge. The charge of the on the individual electron is minus 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. The mass of the electron is 9.17 into 10 to the power minus 21 gram. Electron have particle nature and travel in a straight line. An electron deflect towards positive field and away from the negative field. Next experiment is based now on the discovery of proton. After discovering electron, scientists research that atoms are electrically neutral in nature. So if there is any negative particle, so positive particle must be there. So scientists were, with the discovery of that of atoms consist of negatively charged particles, scientists were of the opinion that atoms must also contain some positively charged particles to neutralize this negative charge of electron, as all atoms are electrically neutral in nature. So in 1886, the German scientist Eugen Goldstein discovered positively charged particle known as protons. He discovered protons while he was working with cathode ray discharge tube. Now instead of normal cathode in the discharge tube, Goldstein used a perforated cathode containing small holes. For this experiment setup, then high voltage electricity was applied across the terminal at very low pressure of nearly 0.001 millimeter of mercury. What he observed that these rays are found to be moving in a direction opposite to that of the cathode rays, and this proves that these rays consist of positively charged particle. Now he has performed the same experiment which was performed by John Dalton. Instead of cathode, here he has used perforated cathode rays. Perforated cathode rays are the perforated cathode rod consist of the consist of holes in it. As you can see in the diagram, cathode disc with hole is there, and what he has noticed that the lines travel just opposite. It means firstly the cathode rays were traveling from cathode to anode. Now in this, the cathode he has observed that, and from the anode some rays are traveling towards the cathode, which means that they are positive in nature and they are just opposite to that of the cathode rays. And Goldstein named these rays as canal rays or channel rays, as they were produced through the holes in the cathode. These rays were emitted from anode and were composed of positively charged particle, and these rays were also preferred to be positive rays or anode. Now what are the characteristics of proton? Proton is defined as a subatomic particle having mass equal to that of hydrogen atom. The charge of individual proton is plus 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Relative charge of the proton is plus 1 atomic unit. And the mass of the proton is nearly equal to the hydrogen atom. Proton deflect toward the negative field and away from the positive field. Anode rays always travel in straight line. Anode rays consist of fast moving particles, or they are positively charged, and ratio is not constant. The characteristics of anode rays will also be same as the cathode rays. So the last one is Thomson's plum pudding model of an atom. Now, after the discovery of proton and neutron, Thomson tried to propose a model which is called as Thomson's plum pudding model in 1904. So, in this model, he shows that how the subatomic particles, proton and electron, are arranged inside an atom. He theorized the atom to be positively charged spherical substance in which negative charged electrons are dispersed just like plums or raisins in the pudding. Raisins in the pudding, you know that whenever we make a pudding, cake like pudding, on which this we spread the fruities and nuts on that, so that raisins. So Thomson has discovered that atom is like a spherical pudding, and the electrons are spread on it like the raisins or nuts are spread on the pudding. So this model described that atoms are electrically neutral. This theory was later on proved to be wrong by this former student Rutherford. So when Thomson has discovered this Thomson plum pudding model, it was later discovered wrong by the student of J.J. Thomson, that is Rutherford. Then he discovered about neutron nucleus and performed some experiment, which we are going to learn in the next class, in the next video. For today, only this much: discovery of proton and neutron and their characteristics. So I hope you will find this video useful for your study. Thank you and have a nice day.